shows a man inches away from death after the evil clowns had already removed all skin from his face and other body parts. But this is not the only chilling part of the video, something that shows the true nature of Morales and his gang. And for what it's worth, the CJNG is the way the men taunt their victim.
Gang, I'm lost for words.
The Jalisco New Generation Cartel took the fight to the next level, shooting down a military helicopter with a rocket-propelled grenade.
Come on, bro.
DEA
What
is
the?
offering 10.
Oh, no, I'm
Do
scared.
you have an irrational fear of clowns? If not, you might develop one by the end of this video. For a long time now, popular culture has depicted clowns as creepy or even evil, from the Stephen King's It to the Joker. These infamous characters might explain the irrational fear of clowns, at least a little bit. But what if I told you such clowns exist in real life? The Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG, has been
heard about CJNG. Now they get wicked. Okay? Now I want to tell you something right now. I ain't no say nothing against those guys. I just watched the video. Please leave me alone. I don't have no problem. Please.
terrorizing Mexico for over a decade now, and they are by far more brutal than their enemies, the Sinaloa Cartel, and even Pablo Escobar's empire. Now they have an army of evil clowns who torture rival cartel members to death and film their horrific deeds. It's hard to imagine something like this is real and is happening right now. This is the full story of Fabian Urbino Morales and his sick clown army. Before we go on, I must warn you, the following video contains very graphic details.
Bro, I'm scared, bro. I'm glad I'm watching this video in the daytime. Do your homework.
Today's story begins with a nasty man
I
called
seen his
Nemesio
face.
Azaguirre Carvantes, aka El Mencho. He was born in July 1966 and grew up in a family of poor avocado farmers.
Now, I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to stop Paul, but I'm going to let y'all know something. A lot of these in Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, Dallas, all these places where all these hood savages be thinking they savage, go over there to Mexico, play with them uno, dos, tres niggas. Go play with the amigos and see how long you last.
CJNG is the single criminal organization most responsible for these deaths on both sides of the border.
The Jalisco New Generation Cartel took the fight to the next level, shooting down a military helicopter with a rocket-propelled grenade.
Tonight,
Come on,
the
bro.
DEA
What
is
the?
offering $10 million for information leading to the arrest of the
Come
Mexican
on, bro.
drug kingpin known as El Mencho.
El Mencho was inspired by Los Zetas cartel and its militarized structure. He, however, took it to the next level, arming thousands of violent men with huge rifles, army tanks, and grenades.
Bro.
And in July, footage would emerge of that CGNG convoy. These gunmen call themselves the Elite Group and pledge allegiance to El Mencho. They're armed with assault rifles with grenade launchers attached to the
Bro,
barrel,
what
heavy
the? They
machine
niggas
guns,
got grenade
and also
launchers.
this gun. This is a 50 caliber sniper rifle.
They got...
It's a powerful
This look like a motherfucking call. This look like the beginning of a Warzone match when they showing all your teammates, man.
weapon that the CGNG loves to show off.
The CJNG rules by fear, kidnapping, torture, and killing anyone who stands in their way. Sometimes it's rival cartels, and other times it's police officers, and even civilians. They have no regard for human life. All they care about is making money and spreading the message that
That's
they
crazy.
are now in charge. But El Mencho doesn't just do this with military weapons and an organized structure. He also recruits the absolute worst people in Mexico. One of them is Fabian Urbino Morales, aka El Payaso. El Payaso means the clown in Spanish. Creepily enough, Fabian Morales did work as a clown at the circus. Then, he traded his clown suit for guns, machetes, and knives, but he kept the mask. Fabian Morales used to work for Los Metros Cartel, which was a smaller faction of the Gulf Cartel, operating from Reynosa at the border with Texas. Morales quickly climbed Los Metros'
Hey, what's
ranks.
the difference between a cartel, a gang, and like what's the difference between like what is a cartel just Spanish for gang?
Brought a new level of psychopathic violence to the gang. He and his own henchmen all wearing the same horrible clown mask. But the terrifying gang didn't earn a name just for their masks. They had incredible...
Hold on, y'all. This is my clothing brand. I need y'all to go support your boy, okay? And supporting your boy for some pretty cheap clothing, all right? And you're going to be fly and fresh as hell, man, all right? Link in the description. They already.us. Go shop.
gruesome methods of dealing with the rival cartel members.
In this place, Mencho and his people recruited them when they saw the way they executed their rivals. They put them in gasoline drums.
El Mencho saw Morales and his gang burning and flaying his victims alive. For him, this was proof that Morales would make a great captain. As I said, El Mencho recruits the very worst people around.
Right. Did he say burning and flying his
CJNG
victims alive?
quickly grew into the second biggest cartel in Mexico, second only to El Chapo and El Mayo's notorious Sinaloa cartel.
Okay.
This is particularly interesting as El Mencho's beginnings lie with avocados.
The economical power behind the Cartel Jalisco, they literally started with avocados, so they were farmers. They literally started moving from avocados to chemical precursors to make drugs like methamphetamine.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so what the U.S. market like? They like their avocados from Mexico and their meth from Mexico.
Needless to say, it's impossible to rule a cartel this big single-handedly. So El Mencho set out to recruit smaller cartel bosses to act as kind of a manager to various areas that the CJNG spread out to. Slowly but surely, the CJNG recruited the whole Los Metros cartel and engulfed them into their gang. Fabian Morales became El Mencho's trusted man, so trusted that El Mencho encouraged him and his henchmen to keep wearing the terrifying masks. After all, CJNG's end goal is to spread as much pain as possible.
I'm good, bro. I would be.
Morales became one of the commanders of the criminal structure of Miguel Fernandez, LM2, lieutenant of one of the CJNG's regions, with his most evil side encouraged by El Mencho. It wasn't long before Morales became one of Mexico's worst real-life monsters. By the 2010s, there was another problem. Cartel members could easily film videos of their most brutal acts and upload them to the internet. This spread a clear message.
Where they
Don't mess
upload
with
them
us.
to?
It was a message to rival cartels as well as anyone else watching. But I can't stress this enough. Do not watch these kinds of videos.
Nah, I'm
They
good.
only
You ain't gotta worry
damage your
about
mental
me.
health. There's nothing good that comes out of watching something like this. Warning. Very graphic details ahead.
Oh, shit.
Skip ahead the next couple minutes if you don't want to hear the contents of the cartel video.
Y'all heard him. You better skip the
It's unclear whether the infamous Quero Agua video was done by Fabian Morales under his orders or just by his vile henchmen. In the video, the CJNG clowns have kidnapped a rival cartel member, most likely a former member of La Familia. The victim has never been identified, as the video begins with a flipped face.
What
The
does that mean?
30-second
What's
video
flayed?
shows a man inches away from death after the evil clowns had already removed all skin from his face and other body parts. But this is not the only chilling part of the video, something that shows the true nature of Morales and his gang. And for what it's worth, the CJNG is the way the men taunt their victim.
Gang, I'm lost for words. Do you know how you gotta be to take the skin off of my face and his whole body? Bro.
Mocking him and laughing at his pain. At one point, the men kept asking him if he wants water, but imagine having to talk without a face.
Agua? ¿Eh? Dime recio. Que me digas con la boca.
The man wheezes in pain. It's pretty clear he just wants to die.
Or at this
but the clowns
point-
keep taunting him, keeping him alive for as long
That's
as possible.
crazy, bro.
His voice is raspy and weak, but this only amuses the clowns. Seeing a scene like this in a horror movie could be enough to give you sleepless nights
Right.
and maybe even anxiety attacks.
Right.
So it's hard to comprehend how a bunch of people could do this to another human being, being inches away from it, and laugh at it. Just how many things have to go wrong for someone to end up like these clowns? To think Fabian Morales and his henchmen were once babies.
Right,
Can you
bro.
imagine the violence they witnessed, or perhaps even suffered, before they became these psychopathic monsters?
Yeah, like that don't just happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, like he about to say,
No animal would do this.
no animal would do this, bro. Even an animal who hunts for they food is gonna get him out of here quickly so I can eat and go on by my business. If I didn't have to do this, I wouldn't really be doing it. You know, if a lion didn't have to, lions just don't go around smoking other animals. If a lion wasn't hungry, he wouldn't. If he didn't have to do this to eat, he wouldn't do it. Do you know how sick you gotta be?
Animals kill for food or to survive, but the CJNG cartel and its horrifying soldiers kill for pleasure. These cartels kill as a means to an end, to secure power, territory, and trafficking routes. The CJNG made violence a means to an end. And in the age where we can share and watch pretty much anything online, this is becoming even more dangerous. Violence, being exposed to it early on, can lead to a dark and violent mind.
For sure.
Once again, please don't go looking for this video or other videos posted by CJNG.
Please.
Now, it's probably time to ask, what are the police doing about this?
Not a
Evil
thing.
clowns drive their cars and expose their guns in broad daylight, and if they blatantly post videos of torture and death, how are they not in prison already? Well, you'll be pleased to know Fabian Morales has finally been arrested.
Oh, thank
In
God.
October 2019, the CJNG orchestrated a huge ambush on the police, taking the lives of 13 officers.
Damn. Damn.
This wasn't the first time the CJNG was targeting police officers and taking more than a dozen lives in one day. But this time, the police used the ambush as a perfect context to launch their own operation. So in January 2020, the Michoacan police launched a huge sting operation on the CJNG. At least, they got their hands on El Payaso and a few of his henchmen. Interestingly enough, this was the same sting operation that ended the life of La Catrina.
Tranquila, mija, ya viene el helicóptero por ti. Ya viene el helicóptero. Tranquila, hija, tranquila. Vas a estar bien. Trata de aguantar, ¿eh?
La Catrina had joined CJNG back in 2017 when she was just 19, but she had such an extreme thirst for that she was soon propelled to hit squad commander.
What the
Micho
hell?
encouraged her drive to torture and kill, and even supported her regular hits on police officers. That's right. La Catrina had given the order of the October ambush. The Michoacan police even had a recording of her voice ordering the hit. There was no way she would get out of this. La Catrina was hit in the jugular. She succumbed to her wounds in the helicopter on the way to the hospital. The same couldn't be said about Fabian Morales and his fellow evil clowns. They were arrested and taken to prison.
Okay.
As news of his arrest made headlines throughout Mexico, it became clear that El Payaso had another brother in the CJNG.
I ain't gonna lie though, too. On the police side, you know how much of a gangster you gotta be? FBI, open up! You know how much of a savage gangster you gotta be to join the police in Mexico? Y'all is insane, bro. This is this is some of the, like, man.
El Payaso is the brother of a person nicknamed El Jaguar, a former military man and former member of the CJNG Delta Group.
It turns out that El Jaguar was a member of the CJNG before El Payaso joined. He was still working as a regular circus clown when his brother was killing and maiming for
That's
cash.
crazy.
Perhaps it was El Jaguar that convinced El Payaso to join the cartel. Or perhaps they grew up in an already violent world where death is normalized and the general mentality is kill or be killed. Now, this isn't an excuse or even an explanation for what they ended up doing. If you saw this in a movie, you'd say it's far-fetched. But to think that this happens in real life is truly worrying. And here's another sad twist. Now Fabian Morales is in prison. It's unlikely he will ever get parole or even escape for that matter. He doesn't have the money or the authority of El Chapo. And even El Chapo found the end of his freedom at the ADX Florence in the United States. But El Payaso legacy is a dark one, and there are many people that look up to him. Some of his evil clowns are still out there, inflicting the kind of pain and suffering that he had taught them. And today, the CJNG is at the top of its game.
The DEA says his cartel, called Cartel Jalisco, or CJNG, is responsible for roughly a third of the drugs entering this country by land and by sea.
They're on the brink of being named a terrorist organization. The war between the Sinaloa Cartel and the CJNG and the authorities that want them behind bars have been terrorizing Mexico for more than a decade. The war on drugs is at its very worst, and senseless violence seems far away from an end. In fact, reputable newspapers have argued that the cartels seem to control the government at the moment.
They create this chaos to go and sit with the local politicians and say, like, okay, do you want more or shall we negotiate this?
Still, it's a small
So
victory.
they make a big ass war. See, we be thinking we doing something in the US when like somebody passed away from the police or something and we go riot and break in the shit and steal. These go get rockets, grenades, and missiles and go smoke everybody and then come to the politicians and say, okay, so what you gonna do? You gonna let our drugs pass? Or you gonna keep what you want? You want to keep smoking? Want to blow this up? We can blow this whole building up too. These got grenades and missiles. Armored trucks, my guy. What the fuck am I
3.
supposed to
that
do?
Fabian Morales is in prison. This means that the authorities haven't given up. Perhaps in time, enough kingpins and psychopathic commanders will be arrested or dead. And as the violence decreases, young people will be less tempted to join the ranks of the Mexican cartels.
And then I ain't even gonna say what I'm thinking I'm finna say. The Mexican narco who turns enemies into, oh my God, there's more.